Here.
Commissioner Williams.
It shows she's here.
Commissioner
Here?
Oh, hi, Vicki.
Hi. I looked for that little button. Anyway, good.
Commissioner Michelina.
Here.
Chairman Briley.
I'm here. We have a quorum. Certification of compliance with the resolution, please.
I certify we have posted this meeting in compliance with Resolution 2021-02 and in compliance with Section 54-40 of the Village Municipal Code.
Very good. Can I get approval of the agenda, please?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Approval of minutes. Did everybody get a chance to read the minutes?
Yeah.
They are short, abbreviated. I kind of like bullet point type of minutes. As somebody over here in the audience said, they're seconds, not minutes. So I kind of like them. So can I get a motion to approve them, please?
I move to approve the seconds from the, what was that, August?
August 3rd.
Thank you. August 3rd, 2021 meeting.
A second.
Second.
Have a motion in 2 seconds. Can I roll call, please?
Chairman Briley.
Yes.
Commissioner Michelina.
Yes.
Commissioner Tondino.
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Next item is our public input. This is for items that are not on the agenda. Does anybody wish to speak to the commission about anything that's not on the agenda? Seeing none in public, seeing none on screen, we're going to go on to the next item. Our first one is commercial site plan request, case 2021-128. Sam, can you give us a briefing?
Yes, your first case before you is Jessica Pettis. She's requesting approval of her site plan to develop an express automobile car wash in the C2 district located at 1811 Sudworth Drive, which is a vacant lot right now. I did bring these printouts for you, for you and our other. And she is here along with her team on Zoom for any questions.
Okay, usually I let the applicant to give their presentation, but at this time, I'm going to go ahead and ask if there's anybody that's going to speak on behalf or against this item to please raise their hand to swear that you're going to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. She does. No, anybody in the audience? Mike, did you raise your hand and swear?
Yes,
You
sir,
want to
I
go
did.
ahead and give us your presentation, please?
Yes, sir. This before you today is architectural and site plan for the Epic Car Wash at 1811 Sudworth Drive. We will be using the two existing driveways from Sudworth. We have spoken with the NMDOT traffic engineer in Roswell, James. You can help me with his last name, maybe, Alan. But, and
Yes,
he has
I got it.
Yeah, and he has indicated that we can use those driveways and just have to fill out an NMDOT permit, driveway permit. So we also have provided you with a conceptual drainage plan for the site where we would pond all the difference between the post-development and pre-development flows on the site, as well as areas that we would landscape the site. So that's kind of it from our civil perspective. I will turn it over to Rob Price with our architect, if he'd like to add anything.
Ms. Pettis is here too.
You're muted, Rob.
He's on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Did you give your affidavit to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay.
You probably didn't hear me though if I was muted. I promise to tell the truth.
Go ahead.
So along with what all Mike handed in from the civil perspective, you got two drawings from us. One's a site plan, probably real redundant to what you see from him. The other is the more important drawing, which is a floor plan car wash, which is pretty simple. It consists of a car wash tunnel, an equipment room, small office, small restroom, and a cash room. The more important thing is the rendering you received, which we think is going to be really nice. It's appropriate to the area, not too gaudy that you sometimes get with these car washes, and it ought to fit the neighborhood pretty well.
Go ahead. That's it?
Yeah. I mean, unless you have any other questions, I mean, we put a lot of thought and consideration into the layout and making sure that we minimized any concerns our neighbors would have, and we're ready to move forward. We hope we get approved.
So Mike said something about drainage. Are we going to take care of some of the paved area and roof area on site, or is it going to drain onto Sutterth?
No, the plan is to pond all the impermeable surfaces that we create on the site. We will pond the runoff on the site.
Great. Any questions from the commissioners? Commissioners?
I'm good.
All right, so,
Well,
go ahead, Jonathan.
No, I was just saying I don't have any questions.
Vicky?
well, I was wondering, there was a letter with concern, was there not, about the lighting at
Yeah.
night?
Yeah, we'll get into that after public hearing. We'll go ahead and ask Sam about the notices that have been given.
Okay.
All right, so if there's nothing else, I'm going to open this up for public hearing. Do I have anybody in the public here or online that wishes to speak for or against this case? Second chance. Public hearing's closed. Sam, there was one respondent last time. Was there continuance for the site plan now?
Yes, we have one new opposition to it, concerned about the lighting and fumes.
Okay, so I guess Vicky, you had the same question. So the lighting and the fumes, can one of your team address that, please?
I mean, we don't see any issues as far as fumes impacting the neighborhood more than it's already there. And as far as the lighting, I mean, we'll be with village code on all of our signage. We'll be in compliance with that.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
this might, we will conform to the dark sky, the state of New Mexico dark sky. I believe it's a law that we have to have certain type of fixtures of either the parking lot or building lighting will have to conform to that act, which essentially does not emit any light above the horizontal, is the requirement of that act. So just wanted to put that into the record.
Thanks, sir. And as far as the fumes, there's, I guess, as much as on Sutterth already. I'm not sure if that is a large concern, except for if there's long lines at their car wash, which I hope the revenue is going to be good for you. If there's any more questions from the commissioners, if not, can I get a motion?
Yeah. Let me find it. Okay, based upon the foregoing findings of fact for 54-67, 54-68, and 54-100 of the Village Code, I move to grant the requested commercial site plan for case CU-2021-128 with the conditions stated in the case report.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I'm assuming you've all seen the conditions that the planning and zoning have put on to us. Okay. I have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call, please?
Chairman Briley,
Yes.
Commissioner Tondino,
Yes.
Commissioner Michelina,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye. Conditional use request case number 2021-129. Sam, please.
Commissioners, Tommy Mathola is here requesting approval of a conditional use to have an accessory dwelling prior to the single-family residence within an M1 district located at 149 Juniper Road. This accessory dwelling has already been constructed. He's coming before you all as a condition to keep it remaining on site. He is here with us today, so if you'd like to hear more from him, I'd be happy to pass it over. I know this is not a typical conditional use that you find under the M1 zone. It's in the building portion that allows a structure like this to go in prior to the single-family residence.
Very good. Mr. Mathola, are you here? Podium, please. And you swore already, correct?
Yes, sir.
You swore at us to tell the truth?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I do have a piece of property on 149 Juniper. And I built a pergola there. I didn't know that you couldn't build that before you built your house. But what I got before you here, I've got my house plans. I started to build last year, but I couldn't because of the COVID. I've got my house plans. I have gone and I've been talking with Bill Powers. I've got my site plans from Hard Crow Surveying. They gave me my site plans for my house. When I bought the property, there was no water, no sewer, no electricity. I had got permits for all that. I put sewer, water, everything's to the city code. But I got sided up because I put a travel trailer there because I planned on staying there while I was building my house. I come to find out you can't stay there in the trailer. So I built the pergola. I was told I couldn't do that I think the code enforcement thought I was going to live in that trailer, period, and that's where I was going to live. And I built that pergola, but I told them, no, I'm building a house. I have everything I've done. I've got everything. I plan on starting in January, and I'm just hoping I don't have to tear it down. And it's not a 2x4 pergola. I'm willing to bet it's the best built pergola in Ruidoso. I had all the wood from the Molino mill factory, and it's really built. It will pass city code. I've got pictures of it if you'd like to see it, but I plan on building a house there, and I have my house plans here. I've got the site plans already done. I've got all my water, electricity done. I'm just hoping I don't have to tear it down. It's basically why I'm here for. And I think there was a misunderstanding thinking that I was going to live in that little travel trailer. But no, I'm building a house there. And if you need to see my house plans, the site plans done, the permits, I've got everything done for my house. I just haven't started it because of the COVID.
So is the travel trailer gone right now, or is it still there?
No, sir, it's still there. I was told that you could have a trailer there, but you can't stay the night there. So I just haven't moved it. I'm going to move it here in 2 weeks. I'm going to come and move it on the 18th.
Okay, so it's not connected to electricity, water, sewer right now?
No. When I come and spend the day here, like I sometimes run horses here, I'll stay the day there, and I'll hook up my electricity and my water and use the trailer, but I've never stayed there. I don't spend the night there because I was told that would be against regulations.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Well, I'll continue with my questions then. Okay. So the pergola, if is to remain, does it meet the required setbacks and everything as needed for an accessory building once his house is built?
Yes, and I've got the pergola on my site plans, and yes, it is set back, way back in the back, and yes, it'll meet all codes, everything.
That's correct.
And I've got my site plans right here that the Harcrow escrow survey, they gave me my site plans, showed where I'm gonna build the house, showed where my pergola's at. And I'm just hoping that, I've got a lot of money invested in that little pergola, and it's, you know, it's really constructed really well, very pretty too.
And you verified that, Sam?
Yes.
Any questions from the commissioners? Vicky, I saw your hand go up, no?
Oh, no, just resting my head.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open this case for a public hearing. So is there anybody online or in the audience that wishes to speak for or against this item?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am? Did you swear?
I swear. I was just wondering, is it a house you're building, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It's a house, and here's my house plans right here.
Ah.
Yeah, I've got 5 sets of them.
And it's going to go in where the pergola is?
It'll be set a little way from the pergola. It's,
Up or down?
the pergola is set down further.
Yes.
My house will be up
Oh,
closer
okay.
towards the road.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Any other public input? Hearing none, seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Commissioners, what's your wishes? Okay, I'm going to ask the question.
Yes, sir.
Were you cited, or
Yes,
were
sir.
you just told to come to our?
I was cited.
Okay,
And I went up with the judge gave me 45 days to get a permit. And I paid the $400 for the permit process, and now I'm here to show that I'm building a house there.
very good.
I failed to mention, we have 2 comments pertaining to the case. Neither
thank
of
you.
them are for or against, they're just questions, and I think they've all been answered today. And code enforcement has informed me that the fire pit is no longer on the property.
Yes. I was cited for a fire pit also. I had a real nice fire pit there, and I took it off.
Yeah, love all of our rules, huh? Commissioners? I did close the public hearing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And you verified everything, Samantha?
Correct.
Okay.
Can I get a motion, please?
Yeah. Based upon the foregoing findings of fact per 54-68, 54-137, and 54-97 of the Village Code, I move to grant the requested conditional use approval for case PV 2021-129 with the conditions stated in the case report.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Vicky. We have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call?
Chairman Briley?
Yes.
Commissioner Michelina?
Yes.
Commissioner Tondino?
Yes.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes.
Motion passes.
There you go. Go build your house.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
So the next 2 items are all on one, it's for the Allsups over there on. Can we have a hearing for both these at the same time? Okay.
Yes, if you would like to have them both, and then in the motion, if we can just state commercial
separate
site
them out.
plan and conditional use.
Commissioners, did you get that?
Yes.
So we're going to hear the conditional use requests 2021-130 and commercial site plan requests, case 2021-131. We're going to hear these both together since they are very related to each other. So Sam, would you give your update first, please?
Thank you. So the conditional use here before us is to develop an automobile service station in the C2 Community Commercial District. This is located at 1201 Meacham Drive. Pending the conditional use being allowed, then we can move on to the site plan. With us, we have Justin representing the owner, so go ahead.
And I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the
Excellent.
truth. My name is Justin Crable. I'm with Atwell. We're a land development consulting company, and we're working for Allsup's here on this project. As Sam said, we are interested in building a new store, 5,600 square foot store at the corner of Metcham and White Mountain Drive. It'll be 8 fuel pumps, 8 dispensers there, and access will be on both road frontages. We have met with the DOT, and we've gotten verbal approval on the layout of the access points. We're working through some drainage issues with them right now, or some drainage comments, I should say, and we expect to have those buttoned up very soon. I'm trying to think what else.
Well, I know you're doing, Allsup's is doing a lot of new stores around it. There's 3 in Alamogordo, there's 1 in Hondo, there's 1 in here. I think there's a couple in Roswell and Portales. I work for the DOT, and I'm aware of the access things and the meetings you've had on there. So that was one of the questions I asked first before I knew, so I don't have to comment on the highway department stuff. So,
Sure.
Sam, I guess my question is, to me, Allsup's is more of a convenience store with gas pumps, but we listed this as automobile service station. Was there a reason that we went one way or another?
The code is so dated, it doesn't define gas stations separately or convenience stores separately. They're all lumped into what used to be a gas station that serviced vehicles. And so you all can have the liberty to use your discretion if you do not think that the conditions placed are fitting.
Okay. Questions from the commissioners?
Is this going to be taking up both the lots there on that corner, or is it just a one single lot?
It will occupy both lots.
Yeah, the upper and the lower, right.
Got it.
So are you filling up or are you cutting down? What?
So we've got that existing retaining wall. If you're familiar with the site, we're going to be replacing that. And just given the grade of Mitcham Drive, we've got a pretty steep grade to contend with that we're going to solve with a brand new retaining wall to replace that existing one. And so I'd say the finished floor elevation of our building is going to probably sit somewhere where the midpoint of that site is right now in terms of the current elevation. If that makes sense.
Yes, sir. So,
Is there an environmental study or anything done for new gas stations?
I'm not aware of an environmental study that's required by the Village of Ruidoso. So I can't speak on their behalf, but we've supplied them with everything that's required for site plan submittal.
Okay.
Is this going to be like one of the newer Allsups you see where there's semi-parking also, or?
Well, so actually, this site is not set up to accommodate semi-traffic whatsoever.
Right.
So if a semi gets in there, other than the fuel delivery truck, which is a much shorter semi.
Sure.
I think we're going to have some issues trying to get it out of there. Plus, there's no diesel being sold here for semis.
Yeah.
yeah, some of the newer Allsups, they have
Oh, yeah.
almost, yeah, the one in Carrizosa is really nice. Commissioners, if there's no more questions, we
I
can
have
have,
a question.
go ahead, Vicki.
You just said there won't be any diesel sold here, but aren't there diesel pumps listed on your plan?
I said there won't be any semi-diesel. This is not a site that's set up to accommodate a tractor trailer.
Right, 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to save questions for after our public comments. So I'm going to open the public hearing. Is there anybody who wishes to speak for or against this item? Raise your hand and we'll swear you in. If not, yes, sir, go ahead.
Shane Barnett, nice to swear. Tell the truth.
Thank you. Want to go to the podium? Did you get the name?
Shane Barnett.
Thank you.
I own Club Gas that's right next door. Been in business since my family's had it, about 23 years. It's already a gas station right there on that corner. Been there a long time. We employ at least 23 employees there at Club Gas. Some of them have been there over 20 years. I think if this were to come in, we're going to run out small business in Ruidoso. These guys got the money, the cool leather jackets, all that, but I don't know, Ruidoso, we just got to be real careful about building something that large in our community. If we still want to keep it the village of Ruidoso, or do we want to be the city of Ruidoso? That's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I'm Melina Smith, and I'm affiliated with Club Gas as well. I do have some questions. Will y'all be having
Excuse me, ma'am, will you please
sorry.
come to the microphone so that they can hear you?
I'm sorry. My name's Delana Smith. I'm affiliated with Club Gas as well, and I just have some questions. Just kind of curious what's going to go on, being that you're going to be next door to us, if this goes through. Do y'all plan on having a full package liquor license on that site?
Can I introduce Brian Ashburn here? He's
Yes.
with All Subsidies,
Yeah, hi.
VP of
Hello.
Operations.
Hi, Brian Ashburn. Yes, is the answer to that
So is
question.
the city aware that there's already 4 liquor license on that corner, or there's already 3 liquor license on that corner? You have Farley's, you have Club Gas, you have the bowling alley, and then Guessway would have 1 more. So in a congested area where churches are right down the street, schools are not too far away, that would be 4 liquor license on 1 corner.
Let me just clarify. We don't have a license to put in there. I just would know that if we had one, we would put it in there. We don't have one. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
And my other concern for the village is that you already have 3 stores that are constantly closed because of everybody's staffing issues. So how do you plan on keeping a store of that size open when you have 3 stores that are constantly closed?
That is definitely a challenge, one that we're working on.
It
I
is.
don't have an answer, but that's something we're working on.
Are you planning to close any of your Allsups here?
Not currently, but possibly the one store 340 on Sutterth, which is pretty close,
Right.
would be a consideration, but we haven't made that final determination.
Okay, thank you.
My other concern, my last and only other concern would be if it's going to be a 24-hour store. 24-hour stores tend to bring a lot of riffraff to the area, to the neighborhood in that area. I don't want a lot of riffraff hanging around the outside of our store at 2 in the morning, because I don't know about any of y'all, but usually people that are out 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning usually aren't up to any good, unless they're travelers or people getting off work and coming to or from work. So that's a concern of mine, that it would be a 24-hour store in that area. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure that that's relative to what this commission is here for, is a conditional use and a site plan. And so we don't necessarily give the jurisdiction for hours of operation. She might, but I don't. So anybody else wish to speak on behalf of this or against this?
Chairman, I'd like to make a comment in response to the hours of operation. I think that in the staff report, there is a condition being recommended to all the commissioners to limit the hours of operation of this location, which brings heartburn to my client because of the other 3 locations in town are 24-hour operations. So we'd like to not be limited with that condition. People have different hours throughout the day, have different schedules, and having a store open 24 hours is critical to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wants to speak on behalf of this or against this? Hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. So with regard to that, commissioners, if you look on, I think it's the site plan, one of the recommendations from staff was operations shall not take place between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7A. And I guess, Sam, I'm asking, how did that get put in there, and is that a requirement of the code?
Yes, the code says anybody contiguous to a residential district shall not operate between 10 and 7, but then again, it defines automobile service station. So I'm not sure if you all want to classify this convenience store as such.
Thank you.
It's kind of just how you look at it.
Correct.
I don't think there's going to be any mechanics operating.
Correct. So, Mr. Attorney, it was requested by the vice chair to ask you that question.
And like Linda says, it's just a matter of interpretation, how you guys want to apply your code, so. Sam, am I understanding correctly that convenience stores don't have the requirement of restricting their hours?
That's correct.
Gas stations do.
Automobile service station, and
Service
the only
station,
servicing, I guess, would be getting fuel.
Yeah.
So are there other things that are drastically different between a convenience store and an automobile service station?
I would just say the automobile service station, in my mind, services vehicles, light mechanic work and
Right.
things like that, how they used to be ran. But
Right.
their operations are definitely not of a mechanic being on site.
Okay, so if we go forward and approve this, do we approve this as the conditional use for an automobile service station, or do we change our title to convenience store? I guess that's the question.
That's the question.
I would recommend leaving it as automobile service station because it does talk about pump islands, and then there's a section that talks about hydraulic hoists and pits and greasing and all of that repair. But you do have the liberty to not place the condition that I did of the 10 through 7.
Okay, so the hours of operation is in the conditional use, not the site plan. Okay, I had it mixed up. Oh, actually, it's on both. Okay. All right, commissioners, what are your thoughts? What are your questions? What would you like to see done? You heard our conversation regarding automobile service station versus convenience store. I'm looking for the commission.
I must have missed it, Sam. Why is this deemed to be a service station and not the convenience store?
Just because our code talks about pump islands, not setback, that's the main reason why. It's just by definition of being a gas station with pump islands. That's the only,
Station.
but we don't have a definition for just that.
A convenience store with pumps. Got it.
It's just, you know how our code is.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
not up with the current times at all. But you all, as commissioners, have the liberty to not enforce that condition. Especially with the precedence of Club Gas next door, and they have pumps, makes it tough.
Go ahead, Vicki.
Will there be any food preparation on site?
Yes, there will be.
Can you explain to what extent that might occur?
Yeah, it would be the typical ALSUP offering in stores, the burritos and corn dogs, that kind of thing.
Okay, so Sam, does that change what it should be?
Now we throw in food service.
Made up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, because
really?
there is convenience foods listed as a definition in our code, and so I think you
Yes.
all have a little bit of leniency that you could offer.
Well, I, for one, I've watched the new ones go in all across southeast New Mexico, and I think they're looking really good. When you walk in them, they don't smell like the deep fried grease anymore. They really have taken a step up. So I'm hoping this one will take even a further step up.
I do have another question. Under the service station listing, Samantha, the property has to be 12,000 square feet or greater. How large is this?
Are you guys right under an acre or right at an acre? It'd be both lots where Mr. Burger used to be and Pizza Hut. I don't have the dimensions. Do you know the dimensions of the total site?
I'm looking it up right now, but it's just a little bit north of 43,560 square feet, which is an acre.
1.08 acres,
Yeah.
it says.
Okay,
So yeah, it exceeds that minimum requirement.
Oh, I brought this for you.
great.
It's right here.
I forgot I had it.
Zach, any further comment? You're over there researching, right?
I'm looking at your ordinance, just the convenience food restaurants. Just trying to find some clarity, but the ordinance.
Right.
You could go either way. I mean,
So Sam, in the rewrite of Chapter 54, I'm assuming this will be clarified?
it's on our to-do, yes.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure? So we heard these both at the same time, both public hearings for both of them. So if there's a motion for the conditional use, we'll take that first, and then we'll take a separate motion for the site plan. So I would prefer to have these acted on in two separate, with conditions, without conditions, with additional conditions, take away conditions, whatever you feel needs to happen. Again, this is our meeting, this is our conditional use. We can put conditions on it as we see fit, since there is kind of a gray area in what this is. Jonathan, was that you clearing throat, or are you ready to say something?
No, I just coughed a little bit.
Sam, if no commissioners make a motion, does this just get postponed to the next meeting,
Does it die?
or does it die?
I've never seen that happen before.
I haven't either.
Can someone
There-
for
nobody's-
or against?
Nobody's saying anything. Is it proper for the chair to make a motion?
I'm not your parliamentarian,
You're as much as one as I am.
I don't think it's prohibited.
Well, I'll go ahead and make a motion so that you can all vote it up or down. But for the conditional use, I do make a motion to, based on the foregoing findings of fact per section 54-68 and 54-100 of the Village Code, I move to grant the requested conditional approval for case CU 2021-008 with the conditions stated in the case report, excluding item number 6, which is the hours of operation.
A second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion before we take a vote? Vicky, Jonathan? Have a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Tondino,
No.
Commissioner Williams,
No.
Commissioner Michelina,
Aye.
Commissioner Briley.
Aye.
So 2-2, conditional use requires 3/4, so it died there.
Yeah.
There's no reason to do a site plan.
What are the requirements for them to come back? Is it a 6-month or something before they can come back on no vote?
Yes, you all can reapply in 6 months.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
That's it for our public hearings. So Sam, we have a community development report.
So in my department, we're currently working on the rewrite of Chapter 54. Progress has been made. They've analyzed our code. We're going to be having another steering committee meeting in the next month or so. It hasn't been set, but we're moving that along to get some items like this clarified, so we're not running into this headache. Still looking for more planning commission members, so if you all know of anybody, send them our way. We have an RFP out right now for development of village-owned property. Any kind of creative ideas or to add housing will be scored and then will be awarded. I'll keep it short. I know you've got another meeting to run to, so if y'all have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Commissioners, any questions or comments? I know that Ron asked before the meeting about garages. We give conditional use for garage mechanics, and cars just seem to pile up and stack and get parked on side streets. And in my neighborhood, there seems like they're parked on vacant lots and such. So I guess my question is about the enforcement of the code to the mechanic shops, the number of vehicles, the number they can have sitting there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Sam?
So those are all defined in their conditions of their case studies, and so I'll follow up with code enforcement. They did go out and visit with one of those off of Meacham, and we'll continue to monitor it and hopefully gain compliance with that. But they are limited.
Okay. So also, I know, again, in my neighborhood, there was a Mr. Ponder got conditional use for his distillery. Have we heard anything, any upgrade, any update on his site plan or anything that's happening with that?
No, I don't believe he's going to be making any kind of transformation there at this point. I think when he was planning to come back would be when he wanted to add a tasting room, but at this point it's just manufacturing.
Any other commissioners' comments? Golly, so I have a couple minutes before my next meeting. So how was the village and how did they deal with the most recent floodings and such?
We are working with Phoebe Sweeney with High Water Mark and assessing the damages and trying to provide the resources needed to homeowners, being able to move forward with those temporary bridges, getting them replaced with permanent bridges. And so it's a huge work in progress with a big team around it, trying to get it going again, so.
But no major damages or houses flowing down the river this time, right?
No.
Good. Commissioners, anything else? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
I second, third, fourth it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Here's my notes. Thank you. We have to scan these in for the record.